Nutrition Depot, your fitness fuel.
You good? Okay. Good morning, good evening, and or good afternoon, depending on where you guys are watching. Welcome to the first episode of the CrossFit edition of the Nutrition Depot podcast. Joining me today are two very unique and fun and influential people of the Philippines, talking about our first topic, which is what is CrossFit in the Philippines, a brief history and introduction. You'll get to know them in just a little bit, but just in case you're wondering as to who I am and why I'm talking here, my name is Joe Bui. I'm the head coach of the Dirty South Project, and I have been doing CrossFit in the Philippines for way too long. No, I'm just kidding. I started in 2012, so it's been about 11 years now. And I've experienced everything from coaching, opening gyms, competing both locally and internationally. And I've diversed into actually helping gyms improve their programming, operations, marketing, and sales ever since. And I've represented a lot of different gyms, but right now I'm just representing myself. And to my right, first to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Ren. I've been doing CrossFit for 8 years now, 2014. And I started my own gym, my own affiliate in 2018, which is Centro Fortis CrossFit. I also coach there. And yeah, I think safe to say that since I started CrossFit, it definitely changed my life. Yeah, as a mom, as an entrepreneur. Well, yeah, as an athlete also.
Yeah. Athlete.
Yeah.
RX.
RX athlete. Okay, I'm Paolo. So I started CrossFit back in 2015, but I also have a gym back when I was 2013. So 2015, so that's 8 years.
Yeah.
So one of my first coaches actually Coach Job right here.
Yeah. Did I do your fundamentals?
No,
or foundation?
Chino did.
It was Chino.
Chino. So it was my first time. Then I was shocked. These guys are really good coaches back then. Then I got motivated. Then honed my craft in coaching because of them. Then 8 years so far. It's a good experience. I put up my first affiliation 2016. So I got Coach Ren
Yes,
as one of
I
our
interned
coaches.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate. She motivated a lot of people, influential.
Yeah.
Then, 2016, 2020, we closed down pandemic.
Yeah.
Then shifted to a gym equipment business. We're back again 2022. Now, we don't have an affiliation yet, but we're planning to affiliate hopefully soon with CrossFit again. Then put up a gym equipment business. And now we're trying to scope and go to other like sports now, organizing fitness events.
Yeah.
So we're kind of new.
Plug it.
Yeah, all out games. So I'm very fortunate to have done CrossFit and met these wonderful
Yes.
coaches here.
And we're all from the South, so the North CrossFit people can
Sorry.
go suck it. No, I'm just kidding. We're from the south of Manila,
Yes.
basically, too. So today's topic is basically the CrossFit in the Philippines, and we'll just try to kind of give the listeners a brief intro to what it is, and lightly touching on the history. But I guess I'll probably be talking more about the history. But let's not make it sound like I'm so old. Like you guys have been doing it for 8 years,
You're the
9 years,
legend.
right?
You're
But
the legend.
the first 3 years is like the difference between what I can say to what you can say about it, right? So Ren, would you mind telling us about like what is CrossFit, and maybe we could just kind of like add on to that with what it is in the Philippines.
And just to give you a background though, when I started CrossFit, when I started to research about CrossFit, first thing that came into my mind was it was all about weights. Diba?
Yeah.
Like now, when you tell people, oh, I'm doing CrossFit, and then they will tell you, oh, you guys lift heavy weights,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
like smash all those
Roar.
workouts, like beast mode. But no, well, the very bookish definition of CrossFit, well, we always remember about three things. First, it's constantly varied. So, well, let's start off with the class setting. So instead of going to a regular gym program wherein you just follow a specific program, you work out on your own, it's a group class. So it's very fun and interesting to work out with a community. It gets you motivated, it gets you enjoy all the workouts that you do every day. So three things that we always remember when we talk about CrossFit or when we tell people about CrossFit is that first, it's constantly varied. So every day we get to experience or do different sort of movements, different set of workouts. Second, it's functional movements, or it's more of functional fitness. So we always tell people, our clients, that every movement that we do inside the gym, we can use it for our daily activities, like when we pick up something from the floor or when how we should properly sit down.
Yeah.
It's something that we get to use not only inside the gym but outside as well. And lastly, well, this is the difficult part to explain, yung high intensity. So normally they get scared when they hear high intensity. So is it like for elite athletes only, those who can do hardcore workouts? It's really not, because diba, what we learned in level 1 and level 2, it's really how you progress through the workouts or yung timeline since you started doing CrossFit. So it's always progress, progress, progress. We never reach a point wherein we're already so good or perfect with all the workouts or the movements. So depends on how you progress. So high intensity, it also depends on, like, well, we get to move large loads in faster speed or shorter distance.
Yeah.
Yes.
The definition of the fitness.
Well, very bookish.
Yeah.
Like
Increased work capacity.
Yeah,
across
work
broad
capacity.
time
And it depends
and modo domains.
one athlete to another.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't mean that we all should exert the same effort or the same intensity throughout the workout.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
changes, it varies from
Yeah.
one athlete to another.
Yeah. So CrossFit, not just in the Philippines, right? Like worldwide, it really has like a dual side of things.
Yeah.
It has the lifestyle aspect, which is what you mentioned earlier, the whole
Yes.
group class where you come in, you work out every day, you're just trying to improve the quality of your life, adding vitality to your life.
Longevity.
Yeah. And then we do have like that sport aspect too, because CrossFit can be or is a sport as well.
Yes.
It's not, I wouldn't say there's a barrier for entry, but there is a level that could be achieved. So something that they teach us in the level 1, the level 2 seminars is actually the theoretical hierarchy of development. And when we say development, it's just basically getting you from point A to point B when it comes to like goals or just whatever.
Yes.
And then at the top of that pyramid is the sport aspect. And Pao, what do you think about like the sport aspect of CrossFit worldwide and the Philippines too?
Actually, in my experience, I'm just short story lang. When I first saw CrossFit, actually saw it in the TV. Saw it in ESPN pa that time. Sabi ko,
Games?
huh?
CrossFit Games?
CrossFit Games,
Yeah.
ESPN. I was doing like circuit training workout, functional training na. I think that was 2014. Then I saw this ESPN. I saw this sport. It's very new to me. I haven't heard CrossFit before.
Yeah.
Tapos I saw these jack guys doing ring muscle ups. I don't know what ring muscle ups that time.
Yeah.
Tapos I saw these big guys doing handstand walk. Like for my experience, I wanted to be like a jack of all trades. I wanted to
Yeah.
swim, lift
Yeah.
weights, everything. Then yun, saw it as a sport that time. Sabi ko, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Then yeah, there. So as a sport, CrossFit actually, there's like an elite level of sport in CrossFit, which is the CrossFit Games. So that's like the top 0.01%, like NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherein only a few people can come
Yeah.
or can
Yeah.
cut, with millions of people doing CrossFit. So that's the top. As a sport, parang we can compare it to like a what's the best of it? Like a basketball league. There's a level then. Like CrossFit Games at the very top. Then may liga, it's basketball. There's like this local competitions and
Yeah.
everything where you can like enjoy, like compete to beat yourself, like to have a better motivation to work out na you can be this strong pala.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can beat yourself, you can meet other people. Basically, I liked it as community aspect because I think only in CrossFit or maybe not, but parang when you compete in CrossFit, a lot of people cheer for you even if like magkalaban kayo, they
Yeah.
cheer for you. That's
Yeah.
very very like it really lifted me up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people. Then I guess that's one of the things I enjoyed most in CrossFit competitions. Like I'm doing basketball, I'm competing swimming.
Yeah.
And I think this is something I wanted to do until the day I die. Like
Yeah.
compete.
Yeah. So like the sport aspect, like what you were mentioning, where it's like you're competing with yourself, right? So there's that. We mentioned how CrossFit in general has this twofold, where you've got CrossFit as a sport, and then you've got CrossFit as a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sport aspect, when it comes to the lifestyle, is what you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Our concept of what is RX. Right,
Yeah.
doing the
Yes.
workouts that we program
Prescribed.
we write for our athletes, our members, as RX or as prescribed.
Yes.
And it's developing yourself from doing it from a scaled version, so a modified version of a movement. Say push-ups, you can't do push-ups on day one. You do it on your knees initially, or from a box or some other variation. And then the pursuance of being able to do a proper plank push-up would be that sport aspect where a member is going for or has a
Yeah.
goal to achieve. And then, as what you mentioned, Pao, there's that elite aspect of you've got athletes who are actually competing for whether it's a prize money, it's for fame, it's for
Bragging
collecting
rights.
medals, bragging rights. I'm the fittest in the Philippines, I'm
Or
the fittest in this
sandbagging.
country, or just sandbagging, or as you also mentioned, just having a good time.
Yeah, just
because
having a
Yes.
good time, yeah.
you know, the beauty about CrossFit is that it's such a community driven sport as
Yes,
well.
it is.
It's not something that is individual.
Yeah.
You know, it's individual in the sense that we have individual competitions, but it has never been about like you don't have you have a fan base, though I feel
Yeah.
like that's true. But the stronger fan base, especially at the competitions, has always been the people in your community.
Yes, in
It's
your
the
own
people
gym.
that you work out with, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that's really what separates CrossFit from other types of sports and other things that they do. Like, can you imagine being part of, let's say, a bike club or a running club, and you're not really gonna have all of your fellow bikers in that biking club watching you doing your duathlon or
Yes.
Yeah.
triathlon, or like the other runners in your running club be at the marathon just on the sidelines watching.
Yeah.
Typically it's family. But
Yes.
here, locally especially, you see a lot of like our competitions where everyone in the boxes who don't compete, or whether they're also
Yes.
competing, like they just finished the workout, they're lying down on the floor, but they're still cheering on the next
Yes,
person,
that's
right?
right.
I feel like that's the beauty of CrossFit and what it has brought to the Philippines. And maybe later we can touch on more about like how you guys feel about how the Filipinos are with regards to a lifestyle aspect and then the competition aspect, really.
Yeah.
But just a brief history for everyone to understand also with CrossFit. The program first came out somewhere around 2007, I want to say. This is like the birth of the methodology. When we say methodology, it's the concept that strength and conditioning was mixed with other modes such as gymnastics, kettlebell training, etc. And sobrang hipster if you think about
Yeah.
it. No, like if you think about Greg Glassman, he was probably like, man, there's something that this world doesn't have. Let me make it. But he's a very intelligent guy, highly cognitive. If you don't know the founder of CrossFit, his name's Greg Glassman. He's from the U.S., so that's where headquarters is. And he was the one who came up with all the definitions that we've been saying earlier, the bookish definitions,
Yeah.
basically. And he started he was just renting a little corner. Actually, it was initially outdoor stuff, and then he started to rent a corner of a gym, and eventually it just started to pick up. It was interesting, and then the website was
Yes.
created where on the website they would just post a random workout every day. I hate the word random, but there's so much truth in it.
Yes.
It used to be very random. And then next thing you know, so it was like an open resource. I think that's what made CrossFit so popular before. Greg Glassman made sure that it had open access to the world. So as long as you had internet, you could see the workouts.
Yeah.
But when it came to execution, like doing it by yourself, that's the thing that wasn't very CrossFit back then. So you had people in jungles and farms or like forests doing it by themselves, stationed in whichever war they were in, they were doing it by themselves. But Greg Glassman, he was holding classes in this little corner of a gym in LA. And it grew so much fan base, pairing up with the concept of the class setup to the website, that next thing you know, he has some guy from Colorado asking him like, how much do I pay you so that I could do your program as well? And then that was sort of the birth of it. Fast forward to 2023, we've got hundreds and thousands of affiliates now all over the world. It's no longer just in the US. But backtracking to 2011, actually, is when we need to look at CrossFit in the Philippines. So technically 2010. The original affiliate, not affiliate, but the original practitioners of CrossFit, believe it or not, is not CFMNL. Yeah, it was actually Ang Tibay. So Coach Russell Eustaquio was one of the first people to really bring it here. And by bring it here, I mean actually start executing it. But when it comes to practicing it, as far as I know, he's been practicing it since I was 4 years old. Joke lang, coach. Huwag ka magalit. No, but I believe that he started around 2008, 2009. He was one of those people who would see it on a website and be like, okay, itong workout na to, gawin ko kaya to.
Yeah.
And then he had the space that he could share this with, and that's the birth of Ang Tibay. After about a year, Miguel de Buncho, the CEO of CFMNL from before, the businessman that he is, he's the one who put up the first affiliate, and that was in Eastwood.
Yep.
And then I believe shortly after that, CrossFit Insurrecto opened with Ferdy at the helm, as well as some of the original coaches of CFMNL, Coach A, who's still in the scene at the moment also. And then we just started to kind of expand from there. CFMNL opened up 9 gyms eventually. I remember there was a time that Insurrecto had 3 gyms. There was like a CFMNL group and then an Insurrecto group. And then, so I'm just going to pause there first. But so I'd like to know, like, from your end, when did you come in and what was your vision of CrossFit from the boxes that you guys started at? And then also talk about like when you opened your gyms and how is it going now? So let's start with you, Ren.
Okay, I started CrossFit back in 2014, and I was 6 months postpartum with my second child.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I didn't come back right away. I had to rest for a week.
Yeah.
But I was so surprised that there was this kind of a pool that I really wanted to go back. There was something about CrossFit and the workout that I did that day that really wanted me to go for it more and more. I've tried so many gyms. I guess all of us know. We've all been to a regular gym. We've tried regular programs in the gym. And it's just so different because you get to work out with the community. I started in Solid Grip CrossFit with Coach Jeff. And back then, it was like, the garage type, warehouse, yes, kind of a gym. So it was kind of a new thing to me. I was surprised that you'd have to work out without the AC, diba? It's open air. But it was fun. So when I started, it was mostly men doing CrossFit. And me being the women empowerment kind of lady.
Yeah.
So I wanted to encourage and inspire more women to try CrossFit. That's why when I opened my own gym, that was really my what I wanted to do. I wanted to inspire more women to do CrossFit. Because most of the time when people approach me or when they look at my videos and I post, oh, that's for, how come you can do that? Isn't that for men only? Or, lifting weights is not good for ladies, for women. So I wanted to change that perception of CrossFit. And, it's I want to encourage more women to try it out first.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I opened Centro, I really used my, I tried my best to
I
be
am
the
in marketing.
yes, I am Centro. Joke
Yeah.
lang. No, but it's really that. My main motivation when I started my own gym was to have more women do CrossFit here.
So do you think that between the time that you started in the Philippines in solid grip CrossFit
Yes.
to now, have we made strides when it comes to like the amount of women doing CrossFit?
Yes. Ang problem namin recently is that pagka team competitions,
Yeah.
we have a hard time talaga finding men to join the team
Wow.
because we
Yeah.
have more women.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, diba, sa team comps, it's
Yeah.
2 male, 1 female. Ngayon, nahirapan kami because mas marami talaga kami. And when you see the photos in Centro, it's really
Yeah.
ladies.
Yeah, and I can definitely attest to that as well. Like especially coming from the origins of CrossFit, and I'm not just talking about the competitions. Also, I'm talking about like the number of people in the classes or like the
Yeah.
demographic of our classes, right? Something also of note is actually not just the whole concept of men and women. CrossFit in its original form, based off of what the Filipinos see,
Yes.
especially from mga ads, yan, yung ESPN, yung kwento mo kanina,
Yes.
we see so much intensity.
Yeah.
So the representation tends to be nakakatakot siya eh.
Yeah.
So we can even somewhat call it a little bit of a misogynist sport from before. So it wasn't just about like the barrier for women to play, but also from our LGBTQ communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I
that's
remember that thankfully in the Philippines, when we started, we had a good representation right away. But what I've noticed and what I've seen is in the past few years, not only has the number of women doing the classes, joining the
Increased,
boxes increased, but from our LGBTQ community,
Yes.
it has not just increased, they've been so represented well in
Yes,
terms of
that's
like
right.
doing well in competitions, being champions, so on and so forth, but also just having that safe space in our
Yes.
community, because I feel like acceptance is just normal for anyone in CrossFit, especially here, right? How about you, Pao? Like when you started to where you are now?
Well, actually, when I started CrossFit, honestly, I was intimidated. So that I think
I
that's
mean, sa akin ka
everyone.
nag-start, so talaga matakot ko sa akin. Diba? De, joke lang, joke lang.
Especially when your coach is Job.
Yeah.
So intimidated.
True.
But actually, I was very intimidated. At the same time, challenged.
Yeah.
So when I started, I was actually a bit fit naman, but not as fit as the ones that does CrossFit. So when I started, parang maybe my ego, they just made me do the PVC pipe, doing the cleans. That's very new to me. Snatch.
Foundations.
I joined the class, like I see these guys do the heavier lifts. I started with the PVC pipe. Then I saw them lifting so heavy. But me, I was challenged. I accepted it. I was challenged. Joined another class and like did the foundations with Coach Chino, Coach Job.
So unfortunate
Yeah,
for you.
so and
No, I'm
so.
just kidding. Peace tayo, Chino. Huwag kang magalit sa akin.
I miss you, Coachino. So yeah, that time was like very motivated. Then I saw them coaching. They're really good coaches. Then after like a year, I tried to be a better person and coach. Kasi I coach then circuit training. Very different from CrossFit eh. But
Yeah.
Circuit training and CrossFit's a bit different then. So yeah, then after that, like after a year, I found a mentor then, one of the owners of CrossFit Insurrecto and coach. Then after that, I joined like competitions, like to join the CrossFit class, then to see what's in it. Okay, then I got really involved. Then after that, I saw this like passion that I wanted to do this. I wanted to coach. I wanted to influence a lot of people
Yeah.
doing this practice because it really improved myself as a person just by being fit then.
Yeah.
So honestly, for me, CrossFit, parang I wanted to get really fit. Tapos second lang yung the body, the aesthetics. Actually. Pero syempre kasama yun.
Yeah, of course. It's a byproduct siya. Byproduct siya.
Pero that what really motivated me is the community talaga aspect. That's what made me put up a box.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
your first gym was
Iron and
Yeah,
Fitness.
my first gym was Iron and Fitness.
and you opened
Yeah.
it in
2014.
2014. Yeah.
Then I was like a coach in a small gym lang, parang part-time coach. Then ayun 2016 Iron and CrossFit. Then parang it was actually community driven. I wanted to be like that. Then I wanted to be like to influence a lot of people to join competitions to have fun naman.
Yeah.
To have fun and be more motivated in their workouts.
Yeah. Since the first time that you got into CrossFit and since you've opened the box, how different do you feel the Filipino CrossFit community has been with regards to your classes? I would say, like the people attending your classes and then also maybe competing on the sports as well. Just like briefly on that.
Well, actually, since the pandemic happened, a lot of stuff changed. Like before, when I first opened up, like our focus is more of like competition, getting more fit, more hardcore, I think. Then after, like during the pandemic, really changed me rin as a person and how I think. Then now more of our goal is like longevity.
Yeah.
So doing everything like it's a lifestyle na talaga.
Yeah.
Then for me is more of you want to do this because you want to be really healthy and fit.
Yep.
So siguro now we're a bit more knowledgeable in that aspect. Then it's a matter of educating other people that CrossFit is, it's not that going to be more intimidating.
Yeah.
So, syempre kasi CrossFit's more new dati. We vision parang intimidating because you lift a lot of weights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now starting to develop it like a more of like less intimidating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why doing competitions right now, we really wanted it to market it as like mas madali yung barriers of entry, something you can have fun. And yeah, I hope one day it will be like normal na lang.
Yeah.
So it's definitely come a long way, I would say, in the past 11 years that it has, well, we'll say mga 12 to 13 years that it has existed in the Philippines, no? Now, I definitely remember like how I started. So I used to be a pastry chef. I don't know even if you guys know
Yeah,
this.
I know
but-
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
know that.
I was obese. I was 230 pounds and I went into the gym. I had a sport. So Pao and I were both swimmers. I had a sport prior to that. But going into work, as a pastry chef, I just gained a lot of weight. I joined my first class. My ego got hurt so bad because during my trial session, I was the only gentleman and I had 7 ladies actually in my trial class. And each of them beat me. And the competitive side of me just got unleashed. And I remember going in the next day, I didn't even get to finish the warm-up. But I've stuck with it ever since. And then fast forward that we opened the first gym in the South. And it's been an experience ever since. But I would say one of the biggest differences I've seen since the start to now is we've let go of this concept of if you weren't vomiting before, you were doing it wrong.
That's right.
If you weren't like almost passing out before, you were doing it wrong. So let's be honest, we used to be very hardcore.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that attracted us to it. But we realize now as box owners, as business owners, and as athletes and coaches that it was actually, it's the wrong way to approach it because it's the one that scares most people. And if we want the sport and if we want the methodology to do well, we really have to make it na readily available siya sa mga tao. And that's, I feel, like one of the biggest changes na nowadays when we go into gyms, it's more welcoming, it's more inclusive. We've let go of the images of Sina Puki the clown to now more of smiles on the coaches' faces.
Yes.
We've let go of a little bit more of the hardcore imagery to a more colorful, more appealing approach. we've let go of the gritty warehouse type of gyms to
Yes,
more
to-
boutique
yes. Yeah.
style, di ba? Para may flair na tayo ng konti. Kung wala kang coffee shop sa harap
Parang
ng
Yeah.
gym mo,
Kailangan may plans.
kailangan may coffee
Kailangan
shop
may
tayo, di ba?
plans.
Yung mga IG wall, yung mga
Yes.
ganyan, we're
May
there now.
wall.
And it's absolutely beautiful how we've morphed from then to there now, because if the issues before was like, ay, CrossFit nakakatakot yan.
Yeah.
Parang, nowadays, hindi eh. Uy, parang okay ng gym na to. Ang ganda.
Yeah.
Ano meron dito? And they don't even realize
Yeah.
that they're doing something that another person or group of people are afraid to do because
Yes.
they've seen something about it. But these people, male, female, whatever, they just saw a pretty space.
Yes.
They saw pretty bodies. People who are happy doing what they're doing.
Yes.
Groups of people being
Pretty
coached.
bodies.
Yeah,
Yes,
diba?
pretty bodies.
And then that's what drew them in.
Yep.
They don't know anything about CrossFit. And I feel like that's where we're at right now, and that's the beauty of it.
I agree with that, Coach Job, no? Because
Yeah.
when I started CrossFit, yun nga, the idea that your first workout, you should be throwing up.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way because, like, right now, I constantly remind our coaches that the first timers should always should want to go back the next day. They should want to go back because they felt good about themselves while doing the workout. They felt good about the community. And this feeling that, oh, I want to get better at this. Because if their first time is like a bad experience, diba, they wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
So it has to be, that's why we have our foundations, our fundamentals classes. They get to try the movements first before they get to that, the level of intensity that everybody else is doing there.
Yeah. So maybe we can go into like some final words when it comes to the CrossFit in the Philippines and the history of it. So I'd like you guys to just kind of dial in and more into your personal experience as a member, as a client of CrossFit, or as a customer of CrossFit, to your experiences in a box setting, to your classes. And then maybe we'll just talk about competition another time. So maybe, Pao, we can start with you.
As a member,
Yeah.
so for me as a member, for example, I'm a member in a box.
Yeah.
My experience. So so what I said kanina, I was challenged.
Yeah.
Then I guess what Coach Ren said then, you want your member to have a good experience in the first time.
Yeah.
So I think 99% of the people would want that.
Yeah.
So maybe the 1% me
Yeah.
or Coach Job wanted more challenge.
Yeah.
There's some people like that, something different. But now I think it's throughout the years we learned din kasi na it's not always about puking,
Yeah.
high intensity. Well, it's there naman eh. Kaso, as coaches, we have to educate them na it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah.
So, you wanted to have fun kasi not all members are athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, syempre napapagod din yan. There's stress in life.
Yeah.
When they come to the gym, you don't want them to be stressed din.
Yeah. It should be their happy place.
Should be their happy place. They want to have fun, community. Then the challenge, the high intensity part, it will follow.
Yeah.
So it's more of like educating them that going to this place, you will have fun. You'll have a good workout, enjoy.
Yes.
Then competition, other stuff, it will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that saying in CrossFit right now, diba? Parang the science is in the programming,
fun
but
is
the
in the
magic is in the community.
Community.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about you, Coach Ren? Just some closing words?
Well, I've been doing CrossFit for a while now, and I can still say, Coach, that I love it. I
Yeah.
still love that I get to do CrossFit. And that's the same kind of feeling and experience that I want to be able to share to our members as a coach, as an affiliate owner, and as a co-athlete. So every time I compete, I really make sure that I have fun, that I enjoy every moment of it. Because that's what they see in you. As a coach, they look at you. As an athlete, they look at you. And if you're enjoying what you're doing, they'd wanna have the same feeling as well, and they'd wanna feel it too. And the one of the best things that I love about CrossFit, Coach Job, is that every day until now, for 8+ years, I still get amazed with what this body can do.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty
Right?
much, yeah.
I mean, you guys too, right?
Yeah.
We still get amazed at what we can do and accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a never-ending cycle of progress,
Yeah.
and I'd want that for women, for
Yeah.
men,
Yeah.
and for our
Yeah.
LGBTQ community
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
For everyone, kids also.
Yeah, beautiful. So, and I guess just to kind of close things up as well, I'll give my 2 cents there. I feel like CrossFit has come a long way in the Philippines in the local scene, but the reality is that we are still in the infant stages.
Yeah.
CrossFit as a community, CrossFit as a brand, CrossFit as a sport, as a methodology, constantly is still going through changes globally, locally. And I think that's where the beauty of it as a business, as a sport, as a program is at. Like how we saw it before is just so different to what it is now. It's not like billiards where it's been
Yeah.
the same for the past 50 years, right? I feel like every 2 to 3 years, there's something new about CrossFit. It's a
Yes.
different trend. It's a different thing that we need to apply that's working or not working. And in the Philippines, we've seen it grow. We've seen it lessen. We've seen, especially during the pandemic, we saw a lot of Manila-based gyms close
Yes.
down. We saw a lot of Visayas and Mindanao gyms close down as well. But the truth is, with the pace that we're going, now that people are easily and enticed to join gyms, I feel like the Filipinos are learning more about weightlifting, thanks to Coach Hidelin as well. They're more open to lifting. We see women inspiring other women to not just compete, but just go about their day-to-day with doing CrossFit, spending 30 minutes to an hour joining classes, meeting new people, which is also something that a CrossFit gym does really well. It gives you a space to meet new people and be
Yeah.
part of a community. We have grown so much.
Yes.
But in spite of its 11 years, I feel like we've only touched the tip of the iceberg. And there's just still so many to come and so much more to be done in the Philippines when it comes to that.
Yeah. Agree.
So thank you again, Coach Pao and Coach Ren,
Thank
for
you,
joining
Coach
us
Joe.
for
Thank
our
you.
first episode of the
Thank you.
Nutrition Depot podcast, talking about CrossFit and the brief history and introduction. And hopefully that helped everybody, all of our listeners, to have an insight as to what CrossFit is and what it's like right now in the Philippines. See you on the next one.